That is pretty legit.
Okay, good.
I'm impressed. It's very impressive.
So there's a few proportion issues here. Oh, bow to your wife who's here today too. You do see the issues with the legs and the horn placement, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed you have been doing the horn placement awesomely on your latest drawings. You want to take the horn for this one?
Sure. I will do
All
my
right.
best.
They have questions about shading. We can get to that after proportions. I'll take up the legs.
Using bad color for this.
Looks like Allie Claw's still battling with everything. She's become a chat monster. It does look awfully chibi. I don't think that was their intent, just looking at a few of their other pictures. If it was, then our critique's going to be slightly off for proportions, but I'm going to pretend as though it's not.
You know, I still don't think I could draw a straight line with this thing.
You'll get better. I know, you crazy traditional artists. Alright, so I'll just quickly go over what I have here. This stuff in the gold, right down here, right here, the reason we've done a cross over top of the legs is because the curvature of the body says the leg should actually be connected behind the body. So to help display that for the viewers, we often just cover or continue the line all the way across the chest, and then the leg just sort of spawns after that. Your leg placement is fine for it. It just needs that little crest across the body. As far as the other leg, you can start them off just a touch wider. Sorry, not start them off. Start the taper wider, where it starts getting like right over here. It just helps it helps bring it down to the hoof size that will eventually be about half a head wide. Now for this back here that I've redone in this purple, the reason I've done it like this is because the hind leg starts out as two pieces. The first piece is a teardrop. It looks like this. That's what forms the large part of the flank. And the second piece is a cylinder, and it just sort of forms off the back end of the leg. Now the cylinder can happily move around up a bit more, like that, and it's generally attached right around here.
Allied claw connected.
Bluechy splotchy thingy. The reason for doing this is it gives us a location to pivot it on. If you were to draw the skeletal structure, there's two ways of approaching it, because of course there has been no pony skeletons done by Hasbro, so it's up to the fans to decide. There's the one where it goes down like this, back, and then down. Then there's another one where it goes, where's that? Yeah, forward. Oh, sorry. How did that go? What was Vertivu's one? Do you remember?
What was what?
Vertivu's way of doing anatomy?
I don't know. Sorry.
It's alright. I'll find it, I swear. It's probably outside links, isn't it? Here it is. Yeah! Them legs.
Oh, that.
Yeah, he dips the knee down further.
Ally claw entered channel.
Anywho, the reason for trying to create that skeletal structure, as we're saying, it gives you a way to pivot it. So what we mean by pivoted is you can move this joint, or this joint here without disrupting the rest of the body. It sort of centers it, brings it to, I hate to say a skeleton, but it's a skeleton. It stops you from overextending, and it helps you place it a lot saner. So when you're creating it, you go, what's the maximum extent that this leg can turn? Can it go backwards? Can it go forwards? How would it move within this rigid structure? And just one quick note about the head placement on the neck. It seems mostly fine, but the fact, just on how you've tilted it forward, it kind of gives a little oddness to it. The easiest way to fix this would be actually just extending the rest of the jaw out, and that gives the rest of the break off as though the head's sort of trying to push off further forward on the body. I know often people will will break this line to sort of give that smooth transition from neck to head, but your goal is to make it look as though he's pushing the head as far off as possible. Or at least that's my interpretation of it. So how's yours going there, Vital?
I don't do digital art, but I can hopefully use this awful scribbles to explain this.
Alright.
Okay, so when we do our horns, we try to think of the head as a sphere, even though it's not a perfect sphere, obviously. And basically all we do is we just divide the head. We have the top and bottom halves, the left and right halves, and then we use those to make some cross lines for showing the interior of the sphere. And then we just take a 45-degree angle off of the center line. It'll run from the front of your sphere to the back of the sphere. And you'll just want to try to take a 45-degree angle there, bring your horn line straight up off of that.
I'll just be back in a second. The roommate set off the smoke detector.
Okay. And this is something that I've struggled with quite a lot, is getting the horn placement right. And yeah, it just takes a lot of time and practice. I've started just basically doing this every time I draw a head. Before I draw anything else on the face or anything, I'll get the horn little line with this going, and then I'll draw the rest of the stuff with the correct face proportions. Also, when you're going off of something like this, you just have to be careful, because these lines are obviously not perfect. I'm not good at doing digital art lines, and so like this line is not supposed to be all dippy and wavy. It's supposed to go around. So these lines aren't going to be a perfect reference right here, but hopefully it'll be pretty close. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't burn anything down. I don't think I can do this thing by myself.
All right. I am not dead. We're good.
Yay!
Well, I mean, I'm a zombie, but what can you do about that? All right. I'm going to quickly hide these layers. You might want to do it on your side too. I'm just going to open up a new layer so we can go over shading a bit, because that was their big question. Dang it. The pony was an omen to the smoke detector going off. So once again, their question was, they're looking for critique on shading hair. So there's two sane ways of going about hair. One is, if you're going for very simple shading, is treating it as a large plasticine object. That's what appears as though you've done. So you have your darks. Let me grab a color for dark. I think dark blue works well for, no it won't, your pony's blue. We're going to do dark green for darks. So you have your decision on your light, which appears to be coming from the top here. Wee. Top front a bit more. Okay, apparently a layer keeps disappearing on me. Yeah, that's what I want. As soon as I touch layer 4, it disappears.
Here, I erased layer 2, or layer 3. You can use layer 3.
There. Not sure what was happening. I think the thing just hated me. Oh, all right. We have an arrow. It might be an offset arrow, but it's an arrow nonetheless. That seems to be somewhat matching the direction of your light. It's a little bit off, but that's fine. We're just using it as a descriptor. An object placed there happily. So we have your light source chosen, and from there we can start dropping all sorts of light on here. And light and shadows, because they're totally the same thing. At least opposite, same. Samesies opposites? Why not? They're samesies opposites now.
Exactly.
So from here, I would start making the decisions on how the light's dropping onto this. If we're just going for regular sunlight, they're often not too harsh of light because it's bright, but it's diffused across a large area. So we would be dropping some shadows based on this big blob of snow you have here. And then the shadow that you have dropped off the ear. That's good. Same as the side of your head. That's also good. I like that you've curved it around the jaw. Wonderful. I'm wishing I chose a bigger marker right now. You might want to consider doing more under the body. The reason is because the head sticks out. If you're to, because the head sticks out, it should also be casting a shadow down the body. You get your horns done pretty good, same as the rest of the legs. Things seem to be almost there. There's just little bits of improvement we can do. So if I take this purple, we'll work on your hair as you've asked. So for here, I've treated it the same way as you've treated the body, where objects are casting shadows on it. So we have the snow casting a shadow. And then we're going to pretend that they're 3D objects, so the sides get cast shadow. And then we can do the same with the mane sticking off the back here. And in this case, the body seems to be actually blocking a fair bit of it. So I'd almost consider just shading the entire thing. Just because of how your body's placed, you've done this large shadow under it, and then your mane's sort of in that proximity, so it's worth almost pulling the shadow into it.
That mane was shaded slightly. Did you see it?
Yeah, it had the back part of it done, but not the front. And the front's actually pulled under the body enough I'd consider completely casting the rest of the shadow on it.
No, I would agree. I was just going to say something about the part that was shaded, though, if you don't mind.
All right, go ahead.
That the shading was extremely subtle, and it's really hard to see. And the shading on the body is much less so. And so you may want to consider doing this a little bit darker like you did the body, so that they match somewhat. Because having one shadow that's really light and one shadow that's really dark for the same type of shadow. Is that, would you disagree?
No, you're completely right. It's an issue of contrast. So we have, actually it seems they're shading in black, but that's another problem. So if we select this color, the body color here, where's my dripper? Is it Control or Alt on this? It's Control.
Control, I think.
And we look at the values on that. So we have where's my sane value? All right, it doesn't have a sane value. Anyway, we have on this dark slider here, we have a 188, and then we hop over to your body. We get 158, but it's darkened up on B. I'm not quite sure how this damn thing works. I mean, darn. Yeah.
Pay for work stream, right?
Anyway, the levels between your body and legs in the shadow on your body are more substantial than the dark and light difference between your tail and the shadows on the tail. That's what Vital Mender was getting at. So the best way to maintain this is on your drawing program, you're going to often see a wheel, or you're going to see sliders. It'll be like 3 sliders. Unfortunately, this thing is a little bit different than everything else. So using the wheel, if we're to select, say, that blue, bring it all the way up to the top, that's somewhere around what color you have. It slightly likes to pull towards the center, but that's fine. So if we're to bring this down about, say, the 15 or 20% down on here, we get something close to your shading. Yeah, that's pretty close. Now, if we're to do the same for the tail, grab the color there, and then bring it down the 15 to 20%, we get a color much darker than what you've put on there. And that's what we're getting at. If you're to keep it more consistent across it, they sort of flow into each other a lot saner, they don't look as jarring. Now, as people in the chat have been pointing out, there's quite a few guides available for us for doing all the shading if you want to kick it up to the next level. So if you're to go look on our subreddit over here, hit the beginner guides. I think we have some on coloring hair in here. We also have, there's some shading ones here. Delicious shading ones. Then on the exterior guides, we also have breakdowns of it. Where's my magical buttons here? There we are. We have coloring and shading guides. So there's plenty of good ones here. There's unicorn magic and pencil shading, but there should be hair one here. Do we not have the hair one here anymore? I feel like that was just a failure on my side. I'm gonna add that to the list or yell at the mods to add it to the list. But let me grab the link they were sharing because it's a delicious, delicious link. Vito, can you post that into the Mumble? The link they posted in the chat.
Sorry, I was just nomming on links.
I just don't have the stream open on this computer.
Law. Link to yakovlev-vad.deviant.
Or she could beat me to it.
Channel, vital_mender. Link to yakovlev.
Alright, so this is the link they sent. I'll make sure to post this in our description of the video. Basically, it is a wonderful way of breaking hair down from large to small and then shading it. You can see they just build up shading over time to give it a lot more volume, a lot more design, a lot more style to it. You'll see a lot of more developed artists using styles similar to this on hair, where it's not each individual strand, it's large bodies being colored and shaded. All right. Do you have anything else you'd like to say on this piece?
Since we're talking about the hair, do you mind if I just give like a quick little tip about hair?
By all means.
One thing that'll help add a lot of detail to your hair is just giving a little bit farther in, and that's terrible, but hopefully you can tell what I mean. If you look at the way the hair goes, like this piece would be above this piece, so giving just a little bit of detail on some of these pieces, like maybe that, and like this one already has it. Just maybe finish this line over. But just adding a little bit of detail like that will help make your hair look a lot better. A lot more three-dimensional.
Yeah, I completely agree. Giving it a little more depth because you're doing that causes the chunks to overlay each other more.
Just ignore my terrible lines. That was all I had for that one, though.
All right, then. We'll move on to the next one. If you could make sure to leave that previous session, that'd be great.
Channel, Ally Claw, no one can hear me? DX.
Yeah, eventually I can click enough to make this rotate.
Just let me know when it's open.
All right, it's hosted now. I don't know if it shares the rotation. Because it didn't have a canvas rotate, it just had an image rotate.
It said connection refused.
What? Try again. Oh, it hasn't hosted out. What? Try now?
Nope, it still refused.
Wouldn't be our stream without troubleshooting.
Sorry.
That's not your fault.
Ally Claw moved to Mumblecore.
This really isn't working today.
Ally Claw entered channel.
Hello.
Oh, Ellie!
My duct tape fix worked.
Yay!
I have to use my laptop's microphone. Bleh.
We're all downgrading in microphones today.
Technical difficulties. Woo.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to figure out why it suddenly stopped wanting to host.
Yeah, I had the same issues as Vital. It wouldn't let me on.
I'm wondering. Yeah, it still should be up. That's still going. One second.
So how's everyone doing?
Oh, just magically.
It's pretty magical.
If all else fails, disable your firewall.
I would really love to know what happened to my mic, because I like set up everything beforehand. I gave myself 15 minutes to set up. I tested everything. My mic was working. And then I go to start and it's like, nope.
Alright. It doesn't look like it's opening up a public host.
Do you want me to try hosting?
If you could.
Okay, 1 second. Send me the file over Mumble?
It's just,
Or the link to the image.
I can do that easier.
Perfect. That's what I more meant, but I
1
said it
second.
in the wrong way.
Did you make sure you didn't have like 3 or 4 draw pile windows open? Because that's what I did.
Sorry about that. One second.
Ew, it's opening it up on Microsoft Edge.
We're live again. I'm sorry to everyone watching this going, how come they aren't doing anything?
Meh.
Channel, Alike Law, 96.37.90.89.
Sent you the host address in Mumble.
Alright, I just want to see if I can get this to launch in just a moment. Hosting. Failed.
Got Vital on.
There we go. Alright. Do you want me to just quickly send you the other links?
Yes, please.
Alright.
Teamwork.
Alright. There we go. I have sent you a handful of links.
Perfect.
Alright, so this one is can someone give me advice on floating pony? I apologize for all the sound in the background that the stream might be picking up. The roommates are home and they're watching movies. Are we just drawing circles next to the ponies?
I'm just getting a grasp without covering, seeing what they need.
Oh, I thought we were just drawing circles. Sorry.
No,
It's alright.
don't be sorry. Trying to understand what kind of face angle they want. Bye bye, Apple Butt.
See you later, bow to your waifu. Or I can't pronounce your name on Reddit. Alright, I think it should be said, those legs go for miles. It's an interesting style. The only thing I'd like to point out about your style and the long legs is because they are so massive, they create a very what's the artist who has the melting clocks?
Dali.
Yes, a very Dalai Lama, or not Dalai Lama. God dang
Wrong.
it. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'll just be in the art corner.
You need more coffee.
I need more everything, like art history.
Coffee's the devil.
Anyway, it sort of gives that impression of these massive creatures walking on stilts. My suggestion would be shorten them up, but it's your style. It seems you've established it. Both ponies have these comically long legs, although they aren't the same sort of length, which does raise a few questions. I'd actually be interested if you do watch this video, if you could comment on what your thought behind these long legs are and why you would approach them in this way. Now, these lines are gorgeous. Dang that inking, you have done a great job. Your hair looks wonderful. I'm liking the large to small. There's not a lot of little jetty areas. You've done a pretty good approach on that one. And these front curls look great. These ones, yes.
I know, right? I'm digging that ponytail.
Mm-hmm. And the nice little binding there.
I meant this ponytail.
Ooh. Yes. I mean, your OC has a ponytail, so.
Mine doesn't.
No, Hollow's does. Dang it. I get the crazy ladies mixed up.
You're also thinking about Coppercore too.
Yeah, he has one.
Yeah. All the crazy ladies.
He heard that.
Love you, Copper. So let's talk about the floating lady, because that's the question addressed here. Your face you're drawing. We love your expression that's going on in this face. We really do. The chat's having a good laugh about it and how good it is.
Yeah, I honestly, my favorite part's the teeth. They really did a good job on the teeth.
Mm-hmm. Now the muzzle could use a little work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna quickly do up the muzzle for them. We'll grab a marker. One that's not 2000 pixels large. So from the looks of it, based on how your muzzle's shaped, the head's facing slightly upwards. That's because this curve here. So what you should consider is, because the muzzle is facing upwards, it's going to slightly overlap the eye, only because it's turned up. The eye sort of ends somewhere down here, like yo. So the easiest way to approach this is you just overlap the eye a little bit. We're going to darken up this color a bit for you. Yeah, when I say darkened didn't actually change it. Yeah, that was totally a thing. Slight overlap of the eye, and then this can follow it gives the visual impression that it's following down to the rest of this muzzle, that you've extended out really wide with this huge facial expression. Your ears are nice and consistent. They both appear to be, well, there first of all, and they also appear to be sane for both sides, like attached at the same point if we're to draw a line across it. That's great. Honestly, I don't have much more to say about the face. Love the expression. This question still remains of your thoughts on your proportions going on here. I mean, you have very long ponies as it is, with these hilariously long legs.
I think my other issue with the anatomy is the thighs down here. There shouldn't be a thigh gap, just like how it doesn't exist for women, it doesn't exist for ponies. Not like this, at least. because they have a stomach showing that's not quite the overlap that the thighs would have. It'd be more of a subtle, if anything. Little connection like that.
So you think the leg should come in?
Yes. They really have this. Let me remove my lines 1 second. So if we look at their legs here, they have this gap plus this curve going on. One, I think it's slightly high where they're outlining at the top here. Let me just erase. So if we tackle, first we have the roundness of the thighs themselves. So we know round. Ooh, you know what? That's the other thing. I wouldn't make them so thin and long. I would actually give the pony some hips.
Hips that last for miles.
10-mile-long hips. They got hips. Don't be afraid. Maybe a slight overlap. And then sometimes there is the little slight outline, the leg outline. But I wouldn't go as far as connecting all the dots. Just a suggestion of one, you know? Suggestion of the lines we have.
So now, what you've done is a more humanistic approach to that, because in MLP, if they ever show the hips forward, like from the front of the chest like that, they approach it very differently. Let me just quickly draw out what they do. So they
Sure, I'll
got,
quick erase.
well, I'll just draw it on the side because it doesn't match anything that their hips are doing.
Gotcha.
So they put the body and then they attach the hip on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they erase inside and leave it like this, sort of like a chicken leg.
Yeah.
And then you'll see, the leg come off. And you can see that, like, when Pinky stands up, Zecora standing, what other scenes? The few scenes where the ponies are lying down on their back, where the camera's sort of facing their chest, you'll see that sort of shape formed. But once again, it's really how you want to approach it. Are you trying to give them slightly more human style anatomy parts, or do you want to stick more to the MLP pony styles?
Honestly, I can't say a whole lot because that looks a lot like what I usually do because I always make my ponies long and skinny. Not quite that long, but I do that too.
All right. Are you going to say something about the mane?
Yep, I was just quick drawing it on. The only thing I would say is beware of flat mane. Manes are a little bit more poofier than you expect. Don't be afraid to give it some volume and some extra little points. I always try to think, even though MLP style manes are, for the most part, a solid object that's lined, they don't really go into detailed strands except for a few hints and lines here or there. For something like this, don't be afraid to let it poof up a bit and then have a gentle curve down instead of trying to flatten it to the head. It usually gives the head a nicer feeling to it. Doesn't quite feel like it's stapled to the curve of the head itself, but has a little bit of a life of its own, sort of like how I drew over in this version, where you have the head circle and then where it goes above the head circle. So if you follow the head shape, yet you give the hair its own standing. That's all I had to say about that.
All right, thank you. Shall we move on to the next piece?
We all good? I'll start the reset.
Make sure to everyone leave the alleys.
Yep.
Yep.
So I sent you a bunch of links in the IRC, or not IRC, the Mumble. Are you just going to do the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. This one should be Sage, not Noctowl. Noctowl. Alright. They do have a little critique, but we're just going to expand on what's said. So this is apparently their very first digital tablet drawing. Just tell me when you got it up.
Just saving it now.
Sweet. You don't need to save if you don't want to. I mean, it's all recorded after all.
Oh, no, saving the picture.
Ah. We have more people in the chat than apparently are watching the video. How is that possible?
Because the three of us are in the chat, and I don't think it counts us as watching the video.
I could see it not counting, like, the owner as watching the video.
Hosting.
I don't know how account works. Maybe it doesn't update. Joined. Yeah, alright. So their first digital drawing. Pretty good for a very first. A lot of the newbie mistakes that happen with jittery lines and general wonkiness doesn't appear to be happening here. Gotta say, thumbs up. Can we get some layers?
Oh, yep, sorry. I was just going ahead and saving all the rest. There you go.
Yay! So the back legs are actually pretty good. There's a little issue here with the chest. Front legs are okay. They could use a little widening. Vital, what do you feel you want to hit?
Whatever you don't want to do.
Alright, how about you take your lower half? The tail and hind legs.
Can do.
Alright, and I'm gonna start doing up the front legs. And if Ali Claw can, could you do up the head? It's mostly
Can
the ear
do.
connection.
A little bit of the neck, too, I think.
Just how forward it is? Or how back it is, I mean.
Yeah, the back of the neck kind of feels the same thickness all the way through the body.
You guys know how many streams you've done?
How many?
7. That's 2 months worth of streams.
Chugging along, damn.
That shows
Sorry,
you
I'm not saying
intuition.
anything about your upper legs. I was just putting a line there so I could look at something.
Alright. By the way, if anyone else wants to join into the stream happiness, feel free to ask. We'll sort it out with you, what you're looking to do, what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to be like a co-host and giving critique, yeah, we can always use more people. Some of us would like a week off every now and then.
We would love volunteers. Seriously, anyone can critique. We aren't the best people. We aren't the best artists in the world. We are the best people, though.
Totally.
But don't ever be afraid of critique. Anyone can do it, and it's good. Critique is always good. People are scared of it, and I know it's hard to hear sometimes. But honestly, anyone can give critique no matter the skill level, and it's all about learning. And you're teaching yourself, and you're teaching others, and it's a group effort. Never be afraid.
Man, the learning you get from critiquing others, because
Seriously.
it forces you to start breaking it down and asking why it was approached like that and how it can be fixed. That is wonderful for your own knowledge of how to fix things. All right, so real quick here. I've corrected the legs, the front legs. They just appear to be mostly sticking out forward, which your angle was fine for that, same as the general shape. I've just widened them up a bit. Generally, a front hoof sits about half a head size. So if we compare this to this up here, we get about the same proportions. And the stream's doing weird things. You'll get over it. I've made sure to just include the other arm because it's weird when an arm disappears. Now, Aliclaw was mentioning something about the neck, and one of the issues comes down to the way you form this gap back here. It's a lot better to go off the bottom of the jaw and curve down into the gut. The reason is it creates a smooth curve. If you're to play with the area between your neck and jaw, you'll notice it's not a hard 90 degree. It actually does smoothly flow out between your neck and jaw. It just helps keep a smooth angle. It's great, I swear. Easy thing to overlook. A lot of artists will just do a straight line right up into head.
Yeah, it's mostly, I think, because that's what the MLP style does sometimes.
They've got a lot better at it, actually. They're no longer doing quite as hard. They're like using a little taper on the end.
Oh, nice. I honestly have not paid that much attention. I just remember always seeing it in vectors.
I swear I don't watch it too much. I see what you put that line there for, Vital.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two body parts are facing different directions, aren't they?
They are. I cannot draw a line.
Alright, what's the line issue?
I just try to draw, but I just can't draw anything.
Alright, Vital quickly had a line placed here and a line placed across these feet. What she was trying to point out is the direction that you've placed the hooves. So if we're to follow, assuming the body's standing straight and not turned anyway, if we're to use this line here, comparing the front two hooves, we notice that if we compare the arms, hooves, yeah, we're going to call them arms today, the body's on two different angles. So one easy way of sorting this out would be if I go back to the hoof, the front hoof, just extend it out a bit so we can see the front of this hoof, like the trailing end of it. And this now gives us the impression that the arm is, both limbs are now turned in the same sort of direction. That only applies if the body's rigid and facing forward like yours is. issue adding curves to it, like if the spine was doing something weird like that, you know, curved around, turned any bit, it throws the entire game off. All right, Aliclaw, you want to go over yours?
Sure thing. So basically, the head shape and for a side view is actually pretty well. Good eye shape and good muzzle placement, especially with the mouth open. I would say my only issue was what we talked about was the neck and the ear. Now, a good thing to remember that if from a side view, the ear will be starting point at a 45-degree angle from your circle mapping, or the head mapping, whatever you would like to call it. And they have, you know, sort of the right shape, just slightly needs to be larger and brought down a bit. So what I have here is where I started the ear right at the 45-degree angle, and I brought it up nice little point, not too steep, and then I bring another arch down to right about the middle of the eye, connecting to the horizontal mark mapping. So here to here, nice little swoop and swoop. The other correction I did was because there is this ear difference, we can use that ear place marker to follow through with the back of the neck. Now the back of the neck will usually just be a nice straight swoop down, as I've shown here. Bring it down, and then it'll start to curve into the first circle, because we have our 3 pony circles. And then once you have the neck fixed, I think you'll be able to fix up the hair real nice. Just bring it right up against the neck as you did before, but this time it'll be in a little closer. So I just drew a little fixed up hair for you to see for yourself. Pretty easy fix.
Awesome possum. Now that's a big puffy mane, don't you agree?
I love me some puffy mane. Everyone knows that.
This is the person who stores other people in a mane.
Pretty much. It's a house.
You just had a random person join this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did yours set yours to public or something? Like broadcasting over the dropout.net?
Hopefully not.
This could get fun.
Well, this is going to get annoying because you're going to have to kick them for the next one when you go to switch.
The last person left.
Ah.
I don't even know how to kick people.
You go view, chat, and then you can click on their name, and there's a little red circle.
Oh, they left.
I guess they didn't like Pony. Hello, Dudin. Dudin? I'm gonna call you Dude. Blue
Yo,
Pony Dude. Alright, Vital, you want to talk about your 2 adjustments here?
Sure. So first, I was going to talk about the tail. When you draw your tail, first you don't want it to be coming like straight out of the butt, because it's not low enough for you to have the case of the poop tails, because that's something that a lot of people do, is they draw the tail too low and they get poop tails. But you want to try to give it a little bit of more swoosh off of the back line instead of like coming straight out. Just try to make it like swoosh off a little bit more. If that makes any sense. The other thing is something that a lot of people don't know is if you feed ponies marshmallows, they will immediately sink from their mouth all the way to their hooves. Living Dead kind of did it up here, and I was just doing basically the same thing he did down here, and just kind of poof up those hooves so you can see where the hooves are, so their legs aren't like the same thickness all the way down. And the last thing I was going to say is that with the thigh, you would, if the angle is this way, you would definitely be able to see this other thigh. And if the angle was the way of this way, then you would want to move this whole leg back here. By the way, you said something about this being your first digital drawing. I can't do digital at all, so this is what that is in mine. I can't even draw a straight line, but hopefully that makes sense.
We're just gonna get you a ruler. You're gonna lay it on the tablet. Outline.
Technology sometimes needs to go basic.
I hear traditional exists.
What? Why would you kill a tree?
Well, I was trying to paint on flesh, but people kept telling me to stop. It was creepy.
That was me holding a pencil on my on my thing. It's still not straight. But anyway,
So-
that was.
I think that's about all the notes I have. I'd really like to see you do a few more digital drawings and come back and show us what you got.
So we all good for this one?
You should also totally hop in our IRC. You'll find it linked everywhere on the subreddit. We love talking to people, especially new people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this
Well,
is it. I'm going to
Everyone
disconnect.
hop out.
I am out.
So I got some good news. The next one I'm putting up is actually the same artist, but we're getting a taste of their traditional stuff.
Ooh.
Cool.
Oh wait,
These-
I actually have more drawings for you.
Okay.
There's 2 more.
Throw 'em over.
I guess I can do that. They were actually linked in the post on Reddit.
Whoa.
One, you might recognize the artist.
Oh yeah? I'm hosting. Oh, quick draw, Vital is.
Nah.
It's meh.
There we go. I thought I was linking the wrong thing, but it was actually a link back to another post, so it made sense. Alright, which one are we doing here? Not Psy. God, I wish this was Psy.
I know. Oh, I think I lied.
Oh. What'd you lie?
It's not the same artist.
Oh no.
I'm a liar.
Is
A
this
liar.
this isn't Supernova? That was the one we did before. This
don't know
is
why.
General Lychee? General Ichi? Yeah, it's General Lychee. Totally is.
Leechnet?
Yeah. Oh, they used a design. Or, their reference, not a design. Apparently, the outgoing link really hates me.
Womp womp.
So this is their reference, by the way. I'm gonna send this to you, Allie.
Oh wait, we're on the wrong ones.
Wait, what?
We're doing the lone snark alts.
Oh. Okay, then that's a reference for a future one.
Yeah, I saw that for the other one.
I was greatly confused.
So was I.
Yeah, I was wondering how they got this from that.
Talent. They found the inner pony.
There is a not safe for work one that hasn't been heavily critiqued. Unfortunately, on our stream, we don't want to critique not safe for work, cause it's gotta be safe.
Or else this will be a whole nother show.
That's for 12 o'clock.
The midnight critique stream.
Lone Snark Alt. So I assume this is their alt account.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was the same person, because there's the same image on the side.
Fair enough. Imgur will do that. It's evil.
Dun dun dun. So, I would say, off the bat, the face, the neck, and the arms and legs.
Can we get some layers?
Yes. No.
All
This is traditional. Hardcore mode.
Okay. That's how we ruined a perfectly good picture.
So y'all can see my pencil drawing on the monitor, right?
So you're saying I should take a Sharpie to my tablet, right? That'll work.
Yeah, why not? You just started drawing? Just Drayden? Dude face? McGee?
Well, oh yeah, Dryden, you should totally come into the IRC. We got starter kits and guides and a bunch of friendly people.
A starter kit's not nearly as fun as it sounds. It's not like we ship you a bunch of pencils and paper and go, oh, draw. No, it's links.
Yeah, it's all links.
We're cheap.
Alright.
But if you want to send me $20, I can send you some good juju.
What is IRC? IRC is an internet relay chat. It's like a group chat room. There's a bunch of people on there. There's usually about 50 people and 4 robots.
4?
Itosh.
Ah, the benevolent robot overlord.
Alright. Who wants to take what?
I'll take the head and neck,
Alright.
or just the head.
I guess I'll get the front part.
Alright. If you take the front part, you want to do the neck with that, and I'll take the butt.
If Aliclaw wants to do the neck, she can do the neck because that's kind of part of the head.
Yeah, go for it. I have a lot head things.
You do head
Groups.
things then.
I believe in you. Teamwork.
Wow, this does some weird stuff. It's like the lines will be straight and then they'll circle out.
Draw pile, man. Draw pile.
It's a pile of fun. Alright, we got some very nifty proportions here. I'm waiting for Aliclaw to drop down a head circle so I can base the proportions off of it.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that too.
There, a head circle has been made.
Yes!
Go, my ponies. Head your circles and circle your heads.
Now we got a badunkadunk.
Now I just want to sing the Tara Strong song.
Which one's that?
Tara Strong has a nice badonkadonk.
Listen, if Tara Strong sung it, it must be fine. It must be safe for work.
Oh, it is. I mean, she's danced to it, so.
Yeah. They really need to figure out a way to incorporate it into the show one day. Just like somewhere in the background, the tune of it will be playing, but not the words.
That lady, she's great.
Alright, so the body does appear to be turned and facing slightly towards the viewer. That's what I'm getting from this.
Mm-hmm. I'm going off of the face direction, and I believe that's exactly what it is.
If it sounds like World War III, it's because it is. I'm sorry. on the bright side, someone can cosplay Little Pip pretty well. So I see a note down at the bottom that says lifting hoof. That's going to help. We can do some nifty lift hoof. Lift.
Definitely.
Alrighty. So really quick here, what I've done to the back is I've increased the width of the hooves substantially. The reason is hoof generally sits about half a head width. So if we take the hoof and place our pencil or fingers next to it, we can measure how large our hoof is, and we can measure it against the head. And if we look carefully, it sits about half a head width. Give or take a little touch, that's fine. We call that proportions and distance and all sorts of nifty words that will cover up our art fail at. Now, for the back leg, you want it to lift the hoof. So there's two ways of approaching this. There's one, we can break the skeleton and we can lift it like a rubber pony, or we can keep a rigid skeleton and then we end up lifting it much like I've done here, where it has actually pushed back a bit and then lifted up. So the skeleton, in case you're wondering, sits something like this. We connect somewhere back at the back hip. We go down forward to somewhat point up on there. Then we go back and form the hock, which is that ridge on the back. Then we go forward down to the hoof. Now it should be on a bit of an angle, but this is just an example. Using this, we're able to move the skeleton of the leg around a bit. So if we take this image here, and we wanted to move it so your leg is held up, what we would do is we would move the leg or this bone forward, and then this bone would come out a little straighter, hold that leg forward, and there would be how it would sit. And that would look something like this blue color. Voila, one lifted leg. Now it looks like it's scratching the front leg. Just gonna quickly erase this, hopefully. Nope, it seems I'm out of erases. Alright, and then I've just quickly corrected where the back tail is located, just because we've raised the spine a bit. So, I guess I should talk about that real quick too. We've increased the size of your butt here to almost twice the size you had. The reason is because the back part of the body will match one head circle. Now, the final size isn't one head because we do pull up on the body. So the line follows like that and it forms a jelly bean. But if we use one full head circle, which ends somewhere down here, we can easily figure out where the bottom of this teardrop for the back leg sits. That teardrop is what forms the hip. Anyway, your tail we moved up, as I said, and it's just located out the top. We try and follow what we imagine is the spine. So the spine on a horse moves across the top of the back. So it moves somewhere like this, and then right up the neck. And if we follow that, then we can fling the tail right out the back without making it look like the pony is pooping out its own tail. And that's all I gotta say about that. Who's up next?
Just gotta do one quick adjustment. I guess I can go. All right, let's take on that head. Now, I just did some little scoops and changes here and there. Mostly, I think I'm going to start off by starting where I started, which is from making my little map, my face map, as I like to call it. Now, once you have your circle down, and you can either, keep drawing circles, undoing, draw, undo, or if you even have a circle tool in your program, whatever program you use, or a circle template, you're allowed to use them. It's not cheating. It's using tools. But it is helpful once you start kind of getting your feel for your own circle. Once you have your circle down, you start with your cross or your X, trying to determine where on the face everything's going to start. From this, I usually measure out where my eyes are going to be, and have them go equal distance from where the center line is. And once that's found, I usually take, for this pony, we're looking at the pony's left eye, our right. You take where that eye is, and that's where your muzzle is going to start coming out at this angle. We'll twist the canvas. So basically right from the inner eye line, you can pull that right out into the muzzle. And now the muzzle's really easy because we can follow the box thing, which we have covered in past streams. Now the box thing, let me pull a different color. We'll go green because we love our colors here. We're gonna have a box right there, box, and then a box right there, box, and it's like a box, box, little boxy muzzle, and that'll help with your structure. You don't have to keep all these lines of the box. Just know that. In fact, less is more sometimes. You want to leave some to the imagination, and you just want to guide the viewer's depiction of the pony by having a few lines. So we have our box. Now I'm just going to go ahead and pick an eraser, and let's get rid of some of these middle lines right here. Let me get a bigger eraser. Get rid of some of the middle lines. And even then, we can see we have a box, and maybe you want to add little nostrils, come off the side to show how big your muzzle is, little hints here and there. And I always find that to be a very helpful, very flowing drawing, a very flowing face, where the eye goes into the muzzle, and the muzzle is the simplified box coming out of the face. And as for the smile, sometimes you can leave even a gap in your muzzle. You can pull it all the way through like I have here, or you can take a little gap out and have the idea of the completing muzzle. You come on down, swoop it, and a little curve for the smile. And you still, looking at this, you still see that it is a muzzle indeed, even though there's a space, which, there's, as we've discussed actually recently in the IRC, there's about 1,002 ways to do something. It's your choice to pick what feels right for you. So that's always important, after learning the basics, you have to feel what's right for you, because there's going to be 1,000 ways to interpret a cartoon. We're not doing super realistic anatomy, super realistic anything. Next, I'm going to bring it up to our horn. Now the horn's always fun. Basically, again, we're going to be relying on the face map. Now, what I've done here is when I start my horns, I like to do a curve, which is the horn's going to take place from this angle. You go slightly above the eyes. So we go right here. Let me undo. Now, what we do with the curve, we have a little curve because the horn is a 3D shape coming out of the pony's head. It's not going to stand flat. It's a cone. It's a cone on the head. And once we have that, we just bring the cone up. And right where we have the curve down here, draw a little arrow. Boop, boop. You're going to want to bring it down so it sort of lines up. So we're going to do a few strokes, get it up there. curve off the top. Let's get rid of the gap there, and voila. We got ourselves a nice, beautiful unicorn horn. See, it's not so hard. It's all about, you know, looking and comparing, and even if you've put it down and it looks horrible, you can always, you know, erase it and put it down again. It's all about having everything down, and you can always rearrange, you can always erase, but you can't put something down without reference or, you know, under sketching or skeletal work. All that stuff is great. It can always go away if you draw lightly or if you erase it. And finally, we have the ears. All right, so again, over here, just followed some simple guidelines. What we did was the horizontal face curve. We followed that along, pen tool. We followed that along over here, and we'll have the start of the ear. You bring it up, and then about 3/4 of the way up the quarter, right here, this quarter, you'll bring it right back down and have your inner ear curve, which is from the ear itself. I'd say it's about 1/4 up from the side is where you're going to want to start this curve right here. You're going to want to start that right there. Just bring it up, not all the way, just enough to hint that it's a 3D, you know, curved object and it's not flat. There's going to be a pocket in there. And for the other side, for the most part, from this angle, you don't normally see the ear on the other side, but say if you do have a bald pony or, you know, a mohawk, maybe a small mohawk, if you're going to do that, it's the same thing, except slightly different, because your ear is actually where it's starting is going to be behind and you won't see it. So like say you won't be going like this. That's wrong, because we're at a curved 45-degree face. Like the face is not standing straight out, it's looking at an angle. Undo that. So what we'll have here is the ear will actually curve down and go like this. And the same thing, 45, curve up, curve down, and an ear slope going this way because we're looking at it from a different angle. So you have the ear curve on this side, you go like this, and an ear curve on the other side, you go like that. Notice how the curves go different ways? That's because we're looking at the object from a different angle, or a different perspective, I should say. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Oh yes, the cheeks. Now this is my favorite part, is drawing the little cheeks on the ponies and giving them that really nice look. So you have your full circle. Just add in a little part there again. Now what you're going to do is pretty much carve out the cheek, and that normally starts right where the eye ends. So if you have the full curve around there, finishing that curve, and then you'll carve out the cheek, bring it down. In this case, you will not surpass the muzzle. Sometimes the cheek goes behind the muzzle. So in that case, you still follow the same thing and then just erase where the muzzle is covering. And then you bring it up along the eye and you bring it over. And that is my form of the face. Any comments, questions, or other?
Love you.
Aw, you're too sweet.
I thought you were just looking for comments.
Tell me how much you love me again, everybody. What?
All of the way. Slightly less than Jin.
Oh, that's impressive.
Wow.
I mean, you've made me 3 plushies now. All the plushies. No, you made me 13, 15 plushies so far.
This is record.
I mean, it's worth it.
You're my best customer.
We have like 6, I think, in our house. 5.
You always need 15 plushies.
No, we have 5 Allie plushies in our house.
Holy cow.
Damn.
There's mine, there's hers, and let's see.
One
Each
for each of the
kid.
kids. and then the one that Living Dead gave us,
Oh,
the
yeah.
fine line.
A little fine line, yep.
So who wants a pony plushie commission? Bad plug here. Aha.
They're worth it.
I know.
All right, Vital Mender, you wanna
All right.
do your last?
Yes. Sorry, my digital lines are so awful, but I will try. So the first thing I was going to say about the front legs is that this far leg was attached a little bit too high. You don't want to have your legs coming out of the pony's chest like this. So you want to kind of lower this leg down so it's coming out at about the same place as the other leg. So the body's at an angle. So you kind of got the legs angled like that. And so you want to have the pony's leg coming out down here instead of coming out like up here. Also, like Living Dead said, we want to fatten those hooves up a little bit. Feed your pony marshmallows. They love them. And the curve of your chest. Let me erase out some of my scribbles in here real quick. So if you look at where Living Dead put his jelly bean swoosh, we're basically just going to follow that line up and then bring it in for the neck. There's not going to be quite as big of a dip right here. Oops, that was bad. There's kind of like an S shape on this original line. Let me move back this. But we don't really want to do that quite as much. We just kind of want to swoosh it up from here and then bring it into the neck. I cannot digital at all.
We believe in you.
Vital got this.
There, something like that. And then we want to look at the back of our head, and for the neckline, we just kind of want to bring it down off the back of the head. Aliclaw has this little line started here, and we have Living Dead's line back here, and we're basically just going to make a big C and connect the two. We'll take it down off the back of the head and down off the back of the side, and we'll just make a nice little C to get that nice jelly bean shape.
Isn't it awesome?
I love jelly beans. I'm so glad ponies are based off of them.
Yeah, now I'm kind of hungry for jelly beans.
I have chocolate milk. I don't need jelly beans.
Oh,
I have chocolate milk and Hershey bar cake.
sharing is caring, you know?
Share.
Hey,
Be a-
I will freeze some of my Hershey bar cake if you will come stay with us on your way to BronyCon.
You don't even live down. You're like down and off 2-day drive to the right.
We're like 6 hours. We're 6 hours straight west of BronyCon. Anyway, that was all I had for that. Sorry.
It's beautiful. Wonderful job, as always.
Next.
You!
No, I went over the hips and legs.
Oh.
Yeah. There's this long
He was first.
babbling thing that happened before yours.
Wow. Pardon me.
It's alright. I often
Babbling,
forget I talk
and then
to.
Aliclaw's awesomeness, and then more babbling, and then yeah, another horse.
Most of the time I feel like I'm really bad at talking on these things, because I know for any presentation for projects in class or school, I always did a horrendous job standing in front of the class presenting.
Fair enough. So what do we want to do next? The next link on the list?
Sounds good to me. Just give me one moment.
So this is the
This-
one we were talking about earlier. The
with
My Little
the
Pony OC,
reference.
Fairies Wander.
Mm-hmm. opening that one up.
Second attempt at drawing ponies.
Correct. That's like
That's
so
not
good
even
for a
fair.
second pony. Copper Core says that's very unfair.
They're obviously an artist who's drawn before.
Obviously. Yeah, like I'm looking at their DA, they've got like that is a pretty pony.
You should get all up in their face then. You totally didn't see not safe for work. You saw implied
eyebrows?
implied eyebrows. I actually don't know what he saw, I'll be honest. I hope it wasn't the blood splatter. I hope he's not
Was
calling
it
that
your
not safe
secret
for work.
folder, LD?
I hope
You
not.
should really not open that when we're streaming.
Well, listen. Just because it's full of whales.
Love you.
I love me too.
Aw, that's good. That's a good way to think.
Cause I love me. I'm an okay me to be. No, I'm not like you. That's okay. Oh God, why is that song in my head?
What is that song?
You never, really? You've never heard that song?
I've never heard it either.
Oh wow.
You feel your age showing?
A little bit, yeah.
It's such an old song.
What's it from though, really?
Sesame Street.
Okay, see, I wasn't brought up on Sesame Street, so
Neither was I.
These
Copper Core exclamations.
What?
these two people had deprived childhoods.
I was a Barney girl,
I was too. There is more than one show on TV though.
but that's the only VHS they gave me.
VHS. Oh man.
Remember that?
But there's a Barney TV show.
There
Barney
was.
and Friends.
No, I watched that, but I mostly wasn't allowed to watch live TV.
Yeah, we didn't really have channels when I was growing up.
Mr. Rogers is love, Mr. Rogers is life.
We didn't have internet when I was growing up either. Did I mention that I was homeschooled?
No, you didn't.
Today I learned.
This is actually the first time I've ever heard it.
We didn't have internet.
Fair enough. That explains so much.
Thanks.
Ouch.
Copper
You
Core
know, it's
entered-
actually kind of funny. A lot of people have said that.
Copper Core entered channel.
A world without internet is a world I don't want to live in.
That shouldn't exist.
Fair enough. All right,
Where
so
wa-
we have this general Ichi picture before we get into weird territories here.
Yeah, we're turning into a slice of life stream as BFC stuff.
Sorry.
But slice of life stories are the best. I love those little fanfics.
We're gonna be our own fanfic.
I'm surprised no one's
Oh,
ever
God.
wrote a fanfic about us.
Channel, undead_.
I mean, we're the
Rapper.
most popular
Can
people
I
on
get a
YouTube,
link to
right?
the stream?
Totally.
Channel, Ally Claw.
So,
Link to
I don't know about you
PickArthur.tv.
guys. Love this picture. It's very, very neat. There's a lot of technical accuracy that this drawer has. There's a few wonky parts that could be addressed, such as the back legs, how far they're down, their general shape that they've formed, and their width, the location where they attach the front legs, the location where they attach the wings can be up to debate, and how high their ears sit. But then again, it is based off of a odd creature, so it's sort of hard to judge on how they were aiming. But if we're going for MLP style, then we can sort of comment on a fair bit of this. Any thoughts on that? Maybe. Maybe not.
I mean, I definitely agree. The cleanness is lovely. And I have to say my favorite hoof is the hoof on the windowsill. They really brought out the 3D with the way they rendered it. I'm
Mhm.
enjoying that. But you're
and
right,
the
there's
shading is fantastic.
there's some wonky bits, like you said, with the lower leg. The head's pretty decent. Ear placement. I think they took our advice. Is this the same person who had the yeah, this is the tentacle person.
Yeah.
I already asked that. They took our advice about the ears. They made them bigger.
Mhm.
Only thing I would change is maybe bring them down a smidge more.
I like when artists take our advice, although it might not always be right.
We're trying our best here. We're not promising perfection, because that doesn't exist in art.
Shh, you've never seen my drawings then. What about floor 5? Floor 5 was perfection.
No.
That pony.
No,
No.
don't do that. It's perfection. You know it's true, Copper.
Come on.
Oh God,
A
no.
pylon as a leg.
No.
Oh, you haven't seen my stack of pictures from playing the past the sketchbook game, have you?
Nope. But you're now going to share them with us.
Hang on, I have a special folder for it on my stash. I'll link it to you.
LD, we have a crit lined up next. That's not going to be a Reddit one.
What?
The new guy, dude, showed up.
Sweet.
He linked something. I haven't read the go.
I looked away
Channel,
from the chat for a
Vinyl
moment and
Mender,
the thing
link
exploded.
to
Way to be.
sba.sh.
I know how to mod some things. Pretty good mod, like not like to brag.
I mean,
Except for when I'm harassed.
I guess I could say Allie calls moderately good at it.
Ah.
There's a subreddit with an advertisement looking for a new mod. You might know this subreddit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of in your boat, Living Dead. I'd have to like actually make choices.
I know, I don't want to do that.
I want to help people.
Alright, so really quick on the legs here. I've altered the shape, and pray I don't alter them again. No, I've altered the shape, and the reason is because if you've been watching the entire stream, the skeleton. So we formed the skeleton. Woo! Look at that. It's a skeleton.
A wild skeleton appears.
Yeah. So using that skeleton, we're able to sort of de-wonkify the shape of the hip here. So what I've done is I've made the initial part of the hip, I don't know what to call this, I've made it stick up more, get a bit sharper because it is forced forward. And then I've brought back your hock, the back of the leg, I brought it back towards the body, and then I've actually turned the leg outwards, so towards the left side of the image. It's moved down this direction. The reason behind that is because a pony is not a very balanced shape, and if we give them a big wide V stance, it sort of makes it look like they're more balanced, as opposed to placing all their force on this arm up here. So you see that the other leg in response has also been pushed out in a V, and that also helps move the pony a little closer to this window. I know you're trying to go for their hooves against the wall, which looks awesome. The problem is it forces the butt out a bit and forces a little wonkiness into it. So another thing we've done is we've also increased the size of the hooves. Once again, if we're sticking with standard MLP proportions, the hoof would be about half the size of a head circle. So if we take this, compare it to here, we get about half the size of your head circle. This can be translated up to your top arms too. They're not quite at the halfway, they're about a third of the way. If you're to widen them up just a bit, like yo, you get to about half a head circle. This is really up to you at this point. You seem to have the basics down well enough. You can start happily breaking all the proportions you want to see how enlarging, shrinking, stretching, pulling, removing completely changes your pony and how it looks. I would also take this leg here, if we're sticking with MLP proportions, and I would inflate it with marshmallow goo to make it larger. Because as we established earlier, because of Vital Mender, if you put marshmallows into a pony, their hooves will get larger.
What if you feed them the extra large marshmallows?
Then they explode.
Did you get your editor?
Oh, I thought it turned into two.
Sorry. What about Bob Dude? I
I
thought
was
that was
about
what
to-
happens.
About to say that.
Okay,
You add chemical X, and then you a little sugar and spice.
And everything nice.
You still get Terra Strong.
Ah, yes. I love these wings. My only complaint is your paper must have moved, or your camera has an insanely low depth of field, because they're fuzzy, where the start of them is very sharp. If you want to improve your pictures taking for traditional art, and you don't have a scanner bed, my suggestion is put as much light as possible onto the paper. So take overhead lamps, table lamps, even a flashlight shining onto a piece of paper. The goal is to spread the light out as evenly as possible across the paper and then take the picture. If you can place the camera on a tripod, even better. You'll knock out one of the factors of camera shake that causes a little bit of blurriness.
I'd also like to add, taking pictures outside, it's the best light you're gonna get. Like, on a sunny day, of course.
Pretty
Don't
much.
go outside raining. That's not gonna be a good picture.
Now, if you have a projector, that also works because they're rocking like 2,000 or more looms. They're generally probably the brightest bulb you got in your house. Unless if you have those halogen work lamps. Then you're looking at like 8,000 to 10,000 looms.
Just don't burn the paper.
I mean, fair enough.
Are lumens like fairy cousins of fairies or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, Ali, you adjusted the eye a bit. You want to talk about that a little?
Yep, basically, simple fix, pardon me. What I did here was I enlarged it slightly, which is funny because I look at the undersketching and I see that they drew the eye bigger before they drew it smaller. So actually, from what I can see, what they first draw was actually in the right direction. Because eyes on a head like this, if you go too small, they'll feel out of place. So it's anyway. It's nice to have a bigger eye, you start at the muzzle, bring it over, nice and big. Some of it'll take up space or else it'll feel tiny. Just don't be afraid to make slightly bigger eyes. Even if you look at MLP, their animation on the side view, they have fairly big eyes. It's very cartoonish and it helps fills out the face at this point. And as for the ear, my slight fix, I saw that they took our advice from our last stream, and my advice is to push it just slightly a bit more, have the ear come in, I'm not on my pen, have the ear come in, come up a little more over, and have it nice and big and rounded, and where it connects to the neck, have this part curve in. And then you got a nice bigger ear, a little more beauty to it. I just had those simple fixes for the head.
Nice.
Any other bits?
No, I'm just busy coloring.
Having fun? That's not allowed.
No, you're right. Back to serious mode. We got more art to critique here. We're only an hour in, and we've already gone through like 7 pieces. We're getting quicker at this.
Damn.
I like Stranger Source's comment. If you make the head too big, make it even bigger.
I make tiny heads.
Everyone, please leave the session.
No,
You rebel.
I was just lonely. Lefty, and when I scroll, my entire left arm's over that. That'll be my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. Is it up yet?
It's not saving correctly. Let me just try one thing.
Is it that silly one where ponies, air brick, turtles?
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it. My brain just shut down while I was talking. Stranger Source was talking about Eric's ears.
I love his ears. They're so floofy.
I like the response to one of the comics where they animated the ears making Pinky fly away.
I also love the ears he draws. Ha ha ha. Bad joke.
Here we go.
You with us, dude? You watching? I hope dude's watching.
Hold on one sec. I saw him in the IRC.
Be like, dude, bro, dude. Sweet, he's here. I forget the stream's like 30 seconds behind.
Oh, hold on. It's being a boop.
I hope it's
Okay,
not the
now
third one that's broken.
Now try joining.
How did it join me? I didn't even click it. I literally opened Draw Pilot and it joined.
Gypsy magic.
Seriously. Okay, so something I would like to note, when I was snooping in the IRC earlier and I saw him there, he's actually drew this with a mouse.
What?
You insane
That's
person.
hardcore.
What?
Wow.
Well, he traced, I think it was his sketch. Let me see. I use my mouse only to color and scan in line art.
Yep.
And that is
insane.
why I do only traditional.
I think the chat's already got him talking about tablets and traditional stuff.
Yes.
And as View says, using a mouse to draw with digital is like using a full couch to draw traditional.
Now I want to
Using
draw a
what?
picture with a chair.
Wait, where did he say that? Oh. That's great.
I got a nice light stool here. I could strap a pencil to it and take a picture of me drawing a pony for him.
Would we like him to also post the sketch?
Yes, we would. We always like people to post stuff.
More posting. More posting.
don't think View has an alert from Mouse. I think he just has a sixth sense about it.
View knows when something is disturbed.
Felt
View
a
does.
disruption.
View felt a disturbance in the art.
There you go.
Would you like me to hit hardcore for you?
Save that for later.
Okay.
There's still much more stream.
Do you guys want to start doing this, and then I can try and bring up the sketch?
Oh, we know that never works. Importing an image into an already existing server for this, it breaks
Right.
stuff.
It breaks everything.
Let me just... I know you've tried it before, but I feel brave. I don't know.
Alright. Feel brave. I believe in you. As long as you hold up a sword and yell, "Freedom!"
We beat the dragon!
That's, I mean, that's a different movie.
Yeah, he was talking about Braveheart.
I refuse your reality and substitute my own.
You mean you reject it?
I refuse. Refuse!
But my reality. Alright, so,
Reality has been refused.
I'm gonna start drawing on this thing.
Yes, please do. Go, go, go.
Draw. Oh, can I get a new layer?
Oh, yeah. My bad, sure.
I might have covered in a bit of green, too.
There you go.
Ooh, that's weird.
Do you guys see the image I pasted in?
I have made a mistake. And I've corrected the mistake. We're all good.
Whoa, it's spinny.
Do you guys see the image I pasted in?
No.
I pasted
no, I
an
don't.
image in.
I
It might
did.
load. I hear this thing might just pop in, because I've seen that before.
I have no idea how you can art with a mouse. I can't even art with a tablet.
Well, he's done one thing right, is that there is the... He actually sketched it out, and I think he was using the mouse, which can be used, you know, in vectoring for line arting and coloring your sketch. It's a very okay thing to do. But it's hard if you're just straight up drawing with the mouse. People do it. I'll honestly say I don't know why. Looks
Pixel
hard.
Kitties used to do it.
Oh god. Looks hard.
Oh,
Do you
something's
guys see...
loading in.
Oh, hey, it just randomly popped up.
I did it! We can do stuff now.
Ah, it looks very similar. Actually, they have corrections on their digital one that would mention over their traditional one. Interesting.
I'm gonna see if I can't make the pony bigger and get rid of some of this white.
You're just going to call on a major poo storm doing this.
Shh. Have faith. Have faith in me.
Insert Faith of the Heart
What?
from, I don't remember the artist's name, but it was used as the theme song of the new Star Trek Enterprise.
What did you do to it, Aliclaw?
You'll see.
Alrighty, Rooney. We have a leg. Alright, so real quick, something I would like to mention about how you've done your back here. Generally, we'll only actually see the way you've done the hip where it faces forward when we're looking on the side or a few degrees off the side. As you tilt more towards the front of the body, they actually have that line disappear behind their gut. So you have a choice there. If you want to throw this line, which covers that back leg up, or you can decide to try and keep with a thin gut and leave your hip as it is, like this. It's really your choice on how you want to interpret it. But if you're sticking to a standard MLP style, it will appear 30 or so degrees off profile, which is the directly sideways. So what I've done to your back leg here is I've solidified the hock. What a common mistake is when trying to draw the hock, which is this hard cliff thingy that appears off the back leg, is artists will draw it as a line coming down, so it makes this weird D shape. I don't even, no, not even a D shape. I don't know how to quite describe that. Like a crushed 3. My suggestion is flatten out the top of it so it's somewhat aligning with the chest, like that. And that will help you keep a flatter line, a saner line. And then you can just bring it around a little bit so it evens out a little bit to the leg. From there, just keep with nice wide back legs. The final hoof should be about full or half a head size. Now you have all this nice fetlock, I think that's the name of it, where it's this hair at the bottom. That's quite easy to do. You've basically done it right, where it's just hair shapes coming off of it, leaving a bit of hoof. Don't feel free to do slightly more, slightly less. I mean, it's really up to you at the end of the day. Some of it's a little wonkier than others. I'd say this foot's probably the best of them. If we're to look at the front front left, sorry, this hoof right here, we see that you've made it these tenderly objects, which isn't at all how hair sticks around each other. If you're to go stare into a mirror, you can go look at your own head hair and compare it. But what hair does is it moves in large bodies. So it works like this, and then occasionally it will have a small jetting area come out of it. Does that make sense to you?
Coppercore says he loves fluffy fetlocks.
Fluffy flatlocks.
Yes.
So much like we did with the back leg, enlarge the hoof on the front leg, because they both sit at that magical about half a head size. Now, your fluffiness that appears on the chest, I think you might have gone a little bit overboard here. It's awesome, the fluffy chest, people love it. More is often, or less is often better than more for this, because as soon as you break a certain part, it's hard to tell where that certain part is, but as soon as you break a certain part, it starts to look like it's a weird gooey mess as opposed to just fuzz on the front. Now, if you look at people like Ervrick, Your Majesty Incarnated, which I think is NC Mares, they do that front fluffiness, and it looks, but they do it really simple. They just do a few chunks of fluff just off the front, and it just gives the impression that it's fluffy without trying to draw every single hair. Quick thing about the tail while I'm down here. So the tail, as we've said with a few others, it's got to follow the spine, or else it looks like it's pooping it out. So the spine moves across the top of the back. It slightly under the hip here. So you can just sort of imagine it flowing up here and then turning up into the neck. And if we make it follow the spine, we can see that, yeah, it does appear that the tail has appeared slightly low. So the easy way of fixing that is just grab the tail and pull it up a bit so it looks more up here. If I may suggest for the next time you do a tail, is try and work with less chunks coming out. I know you're trying to do a very fuzzy, messy sort of style, but much like the front of the chest, where we've only done a few parts, we can do that on the tail, and it still looks like there's more going on without being a mess. So we can do a chunk flicking off the start, where it's getting a little stress on it, something like that, and then do a large body. We do the end, and then on the stress down here we can do a little part flicking off. And then towards the end we can split it just a touch so it looks like it's breaking up. Less suddenly turned into slightly less mess, but still keeping with that messiness of the mane because parts are flicking off everywhere. So what are we doing up here on the head?
I've been on like a head kick today for some reason. Don't know why. I like heads. They've been my study recently, I guess. Anyway, so just some tips for heads I'm gonna bring out again. I can't quite tell from your sketch if you put in a head diagram or head map, but I'm just gonna always stress they are super important for mapping out the head. You know, makes life so much easier, and it only takes some easy erasing, or even if you do it super light, so you know you don't notice it when you start with darker and defining your actual lines. But same rules with this angle. I see, first of all, we already discussed that the cheek's missing, but I just have a, okay, good, perfect. I'm glad to see that there's always someone using head maps, because I swear by them. I do. So first of all, we have our eye, the pony's left eye, our right. We have a nice big circle and nice tall, big, you know, don't be afraid, it's cartoon, it's pony. Some people have slightly squintier eyes, maybe it'll come down some more. There's several ways to do eyes. This is just going to be my red line, how I may approach something like this, but there's plenty of tutorials. So we have the one eye in, and now important to know, the eye, the pony's right eye, our left, it's not going to be the same thickness because we are now going on an angle, because the face is indeed curved. Now I start right from usually close to the center curve, because overlap at an angle, don't forget about that. Do a nice thinner curve, but it still lines up at the top. Can't forget, eyes will line up, bottom and top. Do a nice thin curve to show the circular depth. And it's nice little layout. And as the pony we have done before, what we'll do is take the pony's right eye, our left, and just right from the inner part of the eye, we'll bring out the muzzle. And we'll go straight out. Since it's a stallion, usually you can go for a slightly longer muzzle, maybe just a tinge pointier. Don't go too pointy, or else it kind of looks super boxy and it's not so nice, I guess. But you can go for a more pointy or a more rounded, whatever floats your boat there at that end curve. Let's see, I'll go for a rounded one. Erase that little bit. And then another thing, we remember the box. I'm going to draw our box in orange this time. So we have bloop, 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 bloop. Connect the box, 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 box it up, box up that muzzle. Looks ugly when you have all those boxes. So what did I do before? I erased. We'll erase Erase those lines, la-da-da-da-da. Get rid of those extras, they're not needed. Sometimes less is more. Less is usually more, especially in cartoons. They go off of, well, mostly because animation. They don't want to have to do extremely difficult details when they're animating. And again, we define it. We have stroke down 1. I like to do a little curve for the pony lip. You connect to box point 2. Bring it back up, nice big smile. And for the underjaw, so basically the underjaw, there's going to be a slight difference. You don't want to just come down and connect all as one. You're going to want to come down and come in a little bit, just the littlest bit. But that little bit is going to show a lot of definition. And you don't want to forget that we're still following the line, so this original marking up here is going to apply down here and even down here. We all got to follow that line and that thickness. So we bring it down, and then again, we do a nice little mark there. We add a muzzle point and a muzzle point, and we got ourselves a happy little stallion. Other thing I have to add is the ear. The ears are slightly small and slightly, I'm trying to think, it makes me feel like it's more of a deer ear, so, you know, the more thin, more pointy. So for the show ponies, usually we have a nice big old swoop, more at the 45-degree starting, and then we'll bring it down to the ellipse horizontal curve down here, so we have that connection. And you know what? I'm gonna talk about, since we've done so much about ears today, and we keep doing this show style pony thing. There's a lot of ways to do ears. I'm gonna show another example on how to do an ear. This is one I've been playing with personally, and this is just to show that there's more than one way to do the ears. It's a cartoon. There isn't a specific set rule. There's the look. Something I do is this quick little circle. Boop. And you get yourself a little pony here. And I simply do that by taking a swoop of a shape starting, maybe call that, I don't think what I'd call that amount. Yeah, it's right just about, I'd say maybe a third from where the eye starts, or the eye ends. So think about right there. And what you do is just you go from the head, top there, you curve up, you bring down, and then you come back here, and you add just that little pyramid as it connects. You have, a different interpretation of an ear. Shading, make it look pretty. But yeah, there's many ways to do one thing. And that's my breakdown of the face. Woo. Does anyone want to do the hair on the head?
Vital?
Sure.
Sweet. Mostly the same sort of idea that happens with the tail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I erase part of this?
Yeah, go for it. Whatever you gotta do.
Sorry.
No, don't say sorry.
I always say sorry.
But you're not Canadian.
Jeez. She's just looking for the free healthcare. Trying to blend in.
Eh?
I'm not really sure. I know I've seen people do this with the translucent hair thing.
When I see people do that, I usually see the eye colors stay in, you'd see the white of the eyes through the hair.
Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure how to feel about that. I've never really, I don't do it, but that's because I do traditional. It's doesn't really work with traditional. Sorry. Can you do this one for me? I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Sure. Let's do this.
You said that slightly wrong. Let's do it!
Let's do it. Where's what's bulky biceps? Official name?
Bulk biceps.
Bulk. So does he exist at like Sam's Club or BJ's?
I'm gonna go with Sam's.
Sam's?
Unless if fanfics have anything to say about it.
Fanfic.
Well, then he exists at BJ's.
What?
Don't worry about it. Don't think about that too hard. He's thinking about it. I can hear the gears turning in his head.
All right, let's talk about that hair. Hair's fun. I enjoy hair. Do you like hair, Living Dead?
No, I cut mine short.
Boo.
Well, it's a lot less shampoo.
You know what? I guess that's fair. Okay, I'm gonna pick a different color. What color should I do for the hair?
Purple.
Done. All right. So, what we talked about before was giving some volume to hair and not letting it really stick super close to the head itself. Now, what I like to do is kind of use the ear as a starting point, a placeholder, kind of where the hair can come from at this angle. So you can have, you know, little point there, that little stick up. And I see we want a little more poking forward here. Let me play for a second. Let's see. Let's play. Art is always about play.
No, art is serious. Serious business.
Oh, my B. All right, let's try it. Let's try something. I'm gonna give it a little swoop here. And then I'm gonna have a little swoop. Maybe another swoop.
Channel. Mender.
How could you?
Sorry, I am making some food. I was getting really lightheaded.
Swoops. I love me some swoops. And maybe another swoop. We're gonna be rebels and add that extra swoopy doo. Oh, wait, what if we just another swoop like that? Because we're rebels. We're gonna add quite a few swoops. This is gonna be my interpretation of said hairdo. Now hair has weight, so it's gonna weigh down just a smidgen. We got some overlap going. Maybe because we have the power, we're gonna erase this a little bit here because I'm not liking how that turned out. And we're gonna swoop this slightly differently. We're gonna change some things because you know what? We can, and that's okay. I'm gonna sing to you guys. Do you like that? No? There. So, what I basically did here was my own little interpretations. It's nice to have curves on points, you know. I see you kind of went for a more straighter come out, in, out, in, out. Give it a little upward curve maybe, and then have it fall on the head when it comes back, and don't go so flat on the return bit that covers up the face. Give it some extra points because they're gonna fall off. Nothing's gonna, you know, stick perfectly still unless, I mean, if your pony uses hair gel, that's on them. That's cool. They're allowed to. Nothing says they can't. Except you want to make it look like you're using hair gel. Aha, that's for another day. As for this hair overlapping an ear, you know, it's possible. You don't really see it much. Mostly, like, you think of the front of the head, which is like the ear, like ear, and then everything in front of the ear. Oh, sorry, I heard a vacuum and it scared me. You see longer, you think of that as your bangs almost. Like, it doesn't function like human hair would, because the hairline usually comes, if you look at an actual horse, it's a mohawk. It attaches to the neck and down. It just follows this line here. You can, though, have long bits of hair in the front. You usually see that on mares or ponies with longer hair that'll have like a little bit of accent there that could, you know, come along around. Little boops and bips. It'll come in with the ear attached there. There's a lot going on, so you can't quite see what I'm doing. I'll have to erase some stuff. And just like the tail, less can be more, you know? Maybe have a swoop there, swoop here, and final swoop up. And it's about having it follow the head. Don't forget to follow the head and the neck, because if we look at, you know, the way a horse grows hair, that's where the hair comes from. It's nice and easy, and just, you want to think flow, you want to think hair has weight, and it kind of, it poofs, it has weight, it does a lot of neat things, and there's a lot to keep in mind while doing it and styling and all that fun stuff. Less is more, strands are nice. Overall, I say, yeah, that's my suggestion, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Also, hello, Art Hobbit.
Hi, Art Hobbit.
So, do you have any more questions there, dude? Holy cow, we have 11 users in our chat.
Wow, welcome all you.
I think that might be a high score in the chat. We did have 15 in the stream watching at one point, though.
Damn.
We were
13
famous.
right now.
Alright then, let's move on to the next piece.
Sounds good. Also, anyone listening or watching or whatever, telepathically receiving PicArto streams, you're welcome to submit any kind of art to critique live while we're online. You know, now's the best time to bug us, or you can always drop it off in the subreddit. And what other things? Oh yeah, the IRC. Don't forget about the MLP IRC. Friendly people. Everyone's happy to help. Plug.
Plug.
Get in, plug it in. I'm a terrible person, I know.
A little bit. Just slightly, though.
Alright,
You want to make sure
YouTube.
Vital has left the chat? Or the stream? Not the stream, the...
Oh, I closed it down. Would that kick her?
No.
Dang it. Hold on one sec.
It's really annoying about that.
Hold on, I'm getting her set up for the next one.
Alrighty.
Lol, I think I crashed draw file. Give me a second. Yep, there it goes. My computer likes to show whatever program I'm using with angel wings and a halo whenever it crashes. It's kind of cute.
I mean, it's kind of cute, but it also sounds annoying as sin.
It's like, oh, by the way, this died. I'll use this time to download the pictures.
We're just gonna stare at the subreddit. That subreddit. Oh no, I forgot to upvote some things. Let me fix this.
Oh no!
Sorry, I'm back.
You're alright. Wait, what do we have left?
those last 2 links I sent you. We have Blast Pitcher and I think it's wait, that's General Ichi. Shoot.
Yeah, that's what I was like, wait, it's the same one.
There's Blast Pitchers there, and then there should have been one from where is it?
Wait, these are
it was
bad
General Ichi.
OCs.
Oh,
I don't
no,
think these are for critique.
no, that stacks link is not for critique. That was for y'all. That was something different.
That's what I thought. Like, these aren't for critique, these are masterpieces. I think we're done.
That one.
Ah, that one.
Have we tried Prismacolor markers?
What are those?
They're the other version of Copics, not made by Copics.
And slightly
What are-
cheaper.
What are those?
Copic markers are alcohol-based markers, usually one of the higher end, better. People like using them in the art world because they're actually decent and they're nice and expensive though, which makes you cry.
So the largest difference you'll find between the Prismacolors and the Copics is their tips. The tips on the Prismacolors are generally a larger point. They don't have as good as a wedge that the Prismacolor or that the Copics will have. But you will find their inks a heck of a lot cheaper. So are their markers.
I use Prismacolor pencils to color.
I have a mixed set of Prismacolor markers and Copic markers, mostly because Inky's parents bought him both at some point. Both are pretty good. Sometimes I prefer Prismacolor actually because of the color. Oh, also I have the session up.
Oh.
But yeah, I prefer Prismacolor sometimes. But also, I will say Copic definitely has their advantages. Much better at blending. And I can't, like, I'm a sucker for brush tips, and Copics do come in brush tip, while Prism does not. They're usually stiffer tips, or like, you know, on highlighters when they have the rectangular and angled tips, they come in that, or a smaller pointed tip. That's all I have to say about that. Let's critique.
Prismacolors also don't have replaceable tips.
Yes.
They're solidly in those pens. The Copic markers, you can pull out the tip and replace it. So in the short run, Prismacolors are better, but if you really want to stick with it, the Copics are better.
Yeah, you can even buy ink refills. All right.
Yes. Yes.
It's quite the epic pony. I'm gonna guess this is for your guys' pony finder.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I don't know why, but I really want to hug it. It's so cute.
I know, right?
It's the freckles.
Freckles are the best, can confirm.
Funny story about the freckles.
Do tell.
Okay, so I like recently re-uploaded like 10 or 12 pictures on my DA because Copper noticed the other day that I have a bunch of freckles, and I just never knew that I had freckles, I guess. And so he made me like add it to my OC, and I had to like go back and
I didn't make you. You just jumped at it. Don't lie.
I had to go back and like add freckles to a bunch of my old pictures and re-upload them.
I had to go to the yard to get an insulin shot that day, let me tell you.
Lies. Anyway, sorry. Tangent.
Layers. Layer me lady.
No, you're not allowed, I told you.
Oh.
Oh my.
It's exactly as dirty as it sounds. shrunk your ear there. I hope you're okay with that. The reason I did it is because the head's going like yo, and if we're doing a perspective, even a slight bit shrinking. I know why you chose to make this two chunks of hair breed together, but the fact that they did come together throws off what I'm seeing from the side of the head. The reason is because we have this separation on the ear here, so we can tell that it must be coming from the middle of the hair. It's not like a solid body moving all the way around.
Might I suggest? Oh, go ahead.
My suggestion would be you can make it merge up here, but down on the front here, I would try and separate it out with just a body of hair. You know, something that looks better than a weird spike. Now I was trying to get rid of it and was erasing the wrong thing.
Oh no.
Schwiff. What was your thought on that, Allie?
Oh, I was just gonna play with the hair myself because I think there could be. It can combine to each other in a way. Let me see.
I'll erase mine.
Oh no, you're fine. You pretty much did what I was gonna suggest because it's like, you know, you have your hair come in. Like, but leave a chunk. Nah, what you did was just fine. Don't listen to me. I'm a crazy old lady. But yeah, I agree. It can flow together, but with the ear poking out, it kind of destroys the illusion you have. Because I almost want these two to be connected with the way you have it drawn. Anyway.
It'd be a really long front chunk of hair.
People do it.
I mean, yeah, they totally do.
The only other suggestion I have is the back haunch here. Something that I always mess up with because that one leg is super annoying is that the two back haunches should line up. So I don't even think you need to show its connection to the thigh. You can just, that'll be hidden by the other leg. Just bring it straight up.
BFC is talking about the tangent line on your bag here. He's saying the left outline of the saddlebag and the left upper outline of the hind leg below the connect.
The sword, not the saddlebag.
No.
Wait.
Oh, and the sword was his other one. The hilt of the sword. It's spear, but same idea.
Oh.
Is it just a spear there?
Yeah, it's a spear.
Alright.
That's the handle and the tip is poking up over the ear.
You should totally be able to identify every single weapon strapped to the opposite side of a pony. Jeez, BFC.
Jeez.
Expect better from you. Love you. Oh, now I want to hug him.
Aw. You mean Canadian, you?
I'm sorry, BFC. Ah, he's happy again.
I mean, otherwise, I can tell you put a lot of work into this, and I know it's gone through several boots of critique already.
The main thing that happened to it was I had to change the race. That was kind of a pain.
Oh, jeez.
Those spikes are going to hurt so much.
It's used for playing golf, or soccer.
I know, they look like they would hurt so bad, but it's like a 1d4, and I'm like, that's BS, man. They're so spiky.
What? I mean, you compare that to a short sword, which is 1d6, and that's at least a 4-inch blade, or a 4-foot blade. Wait, how does that work? I forget the minimum length of the short sword, or the maximum length.
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
It's totally the size. That's why a bastard sword exists, same as a great sword.
Bastard Sword is the best sword name.
Oh my god, you see who's there? Kaylee!
The bun!
Oh, yeah, Kaylee's right. Your spear's not aligned with itself. You see that?
Ew. I need to get a straight edge.
Line tool.
There's totally that. BFC is actually suggesting you follow the line that the top of it's forming, and that way you break up a tangent line that's formed of the bag, because that bag aligns with this. You saw
Oh.
that? Yeah.
I actually already fixed that tangent.
Always one step ahead of us.
No, I'm like editing it as you're talking about it.
That's the best way to do it.
I'm just like sitting here with my eraser scribbling stuff while you're talking.
Beautiful. This is what live critique truly is.
So your wing feathers, they're really, really sharp. Feathers aren't sharp. They're rounded.
Maybe she sharpens her feathers.
All right.
Steel
Around
feathers.
them. Around them.
I'll agree, BFC. It makes her look very dangerous. But if you want to try and give that dangerous look while still keeping with, a birdie feather, they have that trailing, like the outside of the wing. And a lot of time, what people will write about is putting a blade across there, because then they're able to use that wing as like an extra arm. So you could just put like trailing leather across the arm, because you already have your studded leather armor going across the legs and shoulders here. If you're to go across the top of the wing here with something that looks somewhat flexible but still usable, you can give the impression of the armored wings. No clue how that's going to disrupt flight, I'll be honest, but I mean, it's a fantasy about ponies. I think we can fudge it a little bit.
No fun.
No fun.
That is yummy.
The other thing I'd suggest is actually finishing out the curve of the wing in the front there.
Over the top of the scarf?
Yeah. Because that would overlap. It wouldn't be trapped under the scarf.
I agree with Bumblebee here. Or BFC. Pegasi have the aerodynamics of a Bumblebee. Or Marshmallow Fridge.
BFC, you the best.
Now, this explains the drawings that they create.
All I'm picturing is Sweetie Belle as a bumblebee.
Yeah.
In
I'm pretty
Antarctica.
sure it's been drawn. Oh no, wait, that was Trixie.
The
There's
Plounge
Fluttershy.
exists. They love bees.
KP Shadow Squirrel has like a gorgeous Trixie bee. Do you want me to re-upload this here in a second when I'm done rounding out the tips of these wings?
Sure.
I also have a slight suggestion to change up the tail a bit, give it a little more poofs going around since you only have 3 or 2 from the tail. Since it'll be windswept, the hair gets blown everywhere and stuff, and it wouldn't be so stuck together in a way. How many images have we done today now?
I don't know, 4,368.2.
Wow, record.
I mean, through these, like, in this 2 hours that we often spend critiquing art, we generally do half the sub of art.
It's amazing. You know what I noticed? No art from Bow to Your Waifu today.
He joined the subreddit, or the stream instead.
Sacrifice the art, watch the stream.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although, didn't he leave to go to school?
Yeah,
That's
like
a
a
shame.
good student.
Skip school, join the art stream. I'm being educated via art.
It's better than art school. We are better than art school.
We do not
Just
endorse this
kidding.
message.
No, I'm honestly kidding. I meant that sarcastically. Something fundamentals.
Dude, if you wait like another 5 or so minutes, we'll hop into the draw pile group where everyone can join up in the draw pile and we start doodling together. It's quite fun.
Yes.
We'll get a quick picture from you.
Draw pile together for the draw pile disaster. Zip.
So yeah, I'm done with the critique on this one.
Yeah.
See you
Wait.
later, dude.
Why? Oh, he's Australian.
I hope he comes back.
Yeah, he was in the IRC for a while.
Sweet.
I'm gonna kick you all out of chat.
No.
Or
No.
no, kick you out of the draw pile.
That's how that lasted.